A soba merchant pushed his cart along the moonlit Japanese road, calling to potential customers. Soba, soba. The night wind carried his voice to a traveler who considered enjoying some tasty noodles. The traveler heard a crying woman. He followed the distressed sounds and found a woman kneeling along the road. He asked if she was hurt. The woman continued weeping. The traveler tried to comfort her and offered help. The woman stopped crying and faced him. She had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. The traveler screamed and ran down the road. He caught up to the soba merchant and tried catching his breath while explaining what he saw. The merchant asked if the woman looked like this. The merchant wiped his face and had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. The traveler encountered Japan's faceless ghost, Noppera-Bo. And this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 33, Japan's Faceless Ghost, Noppera-Bo. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek. You can support us by encouraging 2 or 3 of your friends to listen to our show. Halloween is around the corner, and I'm sure they'll appreciate you recommending our show. Later in this episode, your featured song, Hawaiian Word, and information about my paranormal experiences. But first, Noppera-Bo. The Noppera-Bo is a ghost that doesn't have any dangerous things, like claws or fangs. It also doesn't seem to be a harbinger of some type. So oddly, it seems that the Noppera-Bo just wants to scare people. The Noppera-Bo is believed to be a disguise used by Japan's magical creatures like the fox, who are very troublesome, or the tanuki. Sometimes thick strands of hair stick out from the Noppera-Bo, which means it's a disguised magical creature. Our opening story was a popular Japanese tale, and the first story I heard from Dr. Glen Grant. Still to come, your featured song, Hawaiian Word, and information about my paranormal experiences. But now, a story. The following is a Legends from the Pacific original story and is based on cultural testimony. A husband looked forward to a night of fishing, but his wife told him something didn't feel right and asked him to stay home. The fisherman ignored his wife and left. While passing Hienkyo Palace, he gazed at the sacred imperial pond, the graveyard beside it, and the road leading to his usual fishing spot. The fisherman made sure no one was around and snuck into the sacred pond. He got situated but saw something from the corner of his eye. It was a woman. She warned him not to fish in the pond. He ignored her. The woman smiled and wiped her face. She had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. The fisherman screamed and ran home. Once in his safe dwellings, his wife asked what happened. He told her about the faceless woman at the sacred pond. His wife asked if she looked like this. and she wiped her face away. Still to come, your featured song Hawaiian word and information about my paranormal experiences. You can support us by encouraging 2 or 3 of your friends to listen to our show. Halloween is around the corner, and I'm sure they'll appreciate you recommending our show. Today, when people think of a faceless ghost, Slender Man comes to mind. I feel this diminishes the Noppera-Bo, since Slender Man is an internet story, and the Noppera-Bo has been seen even in Hawaii. Hawaii locals call the Noppera-Bo a Mujina, and she's become so popular that many attended a Halloween haunted maze because they heard there was a Mujina section. Hawaii's Mujina fascination started in 1959 when the Honolulu Advertiser reported a Mujina was seen at Oahu's Waialae Drive-In Theater. Over 20 years later, in 1981, Dr. Glen Grant on his radio show claimed the story was a hoax. But a listener called in and explained their encounter. Then, decades later, I told Dr. Grant about my Mujina experience. As promised months ago, I've started releasing my paranormal experiences, and our first episode is my childhood experience with the Waialae Drive-In Mujina. This is an exclusive, free story for Legends from the Pacific email subscribers, who have been enjoying the story for almost a week now. More of my experiences will be released during October 2020, so join our email list at legendsfromthepacific.com or click the link in our show notes to download your free story today and stay current with our latest news. Unfortunately, the beloved Waialae Drive-In was torn down, but there's been Mujina sightings across the state of Hawaii. As for Waialae Drive-In's Mujina, witnesses claimed she moved to the shopping mall across the street. Now, was it a coincidence that the first Dr. Grant story I heard was a Noppera-Bo, and the first ghost I encountered was a Mujina? I'll leave that for you to decide. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating, write a review, and share Legends from the Pacific with your friends and family. I'd really appreciate it. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is The Unknown, an instrumental by Kamuela Kaneshiro, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is levaia. Levaia means fishing. An example of levaia is levaia takes skill and knowledge to catch big fish. Once again, levaia means fishing. As a side note, levaia also means someone who fishes. And it's bad luck to say when you're going fishing because you'll scare the fish away. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and ahui ho.